So the first thing I've got to know is how is TNA been as a home to you in the time that you've been there?
TNA is a blessing. I must say, from the moment, I had signed with TNA up until now has been like the most exciting chapter, I would say, in my wrestling career. Coming from a different place, wrestling for 11 years, it was just, I was very restricted. And one thing with going to TNA, I felt that creative freedom. It was so amazing to actually come to the table with an idea and they're like, yep, that's it, let's do it. And they ran with it and made sure like we knocked it out of the park. Although I was like very nervous coming, I was off since September, coming into a new year in January, showing up in Las Vegas. I was like, oh my God, how are the fans gonna, really respond to me? And they were super excited to see that I didn't give up. I didn't, stop wrestling, and I continued my passion. And TNA is definitely a great opportunity and a great platform for me to go out there and showcase really what I'm all about, bringing character and entertainment work, and also being able to perform in the ring and show a different side of me.
Of course. So it sounds like, you're enjoying it, and it also sounds like this is being in TNA, because this is something we hear a lot about people feeling a little bit restricted elsewhere. Then they come here and all of a sudden they've got new creative ways to express themselves. Do you feel the same way?
Oh my gosh, immediately. That was a big factor of my, in making my decision, because I was talking with a couple different wrestling promotions. And, I felt as though, okay, I am coming from a position where I had a ton of creative ideas and I would, throw them out there, but nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Or, I was making ideas and pitching ideas and they were given to someone else. And that kind of was like, okay, that, hurt. And talking with these different wrestling promotions, TNA was open to our ideas. And that was one thing that they mentioned. They're like, we take talent's creativity and we run with it. It's not us coming up with an idea for you. And if you're not comfortable, you still have to do it. If you're not comfortable, then we scratch it and we move on and we find something else that, works. Or you come to the table and say, hey, I'd like to explore this avenue, this route. And we do that as well too. And I was like, you know what? This is the place for me. This is exactly where I want to be. And then, it comes down to, it doesn't come down to necessarily money per se. It was just because I felt like I was a toy sitting on the shelf for so long that I wanted to come out and give it all I had, come out to the table with a great creative freedom and explore, an opportunity. And Tommy Dreamer really believed in me. Gail Kim really believed in me. And, Tommy was like, we're going to make you a star. We're going to make you a star and you're going to feel like how you are supposed to be treated and how you want to be, felt. I was like, all right, sign me up. Where do I sign? And here I am. And, a couple months later, I couldn't even imagine going to another promotion.
That's amazing. So I just want you to know a lot of people would already consider you a star.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just saying that's me just being objective. A lot of people would say that, but it does sound like you sound very refreshed by the move, and it's nice that after leaving the last place that you were, you came here. That another promotion, like other promotions, were so happy to say, "Yeah, come here." You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of wrestlers have that fear, don't they? When they get out of one place, they're like, "Well, will I work elsewhere?" So it must be really validating and nice to know that, yes, of course you do.
Of course, and I have to give everything I have inside of me to, WWE. They gave me an amazing platform. And without them, obviously, I wouldn't be in the situation I am now, being able to make decisions and choices on where I would want to go. So WWE definitely set me up for that success. Although I felt as I had a lot more to give than I
Of
was
course.
able to give. And I feel so happy. Like, back in September when the news was released that, I was out of WWE, I had like sleepless nights where I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, what if nobody wants me? They don't know what I'm capable of. I know I can do this. I know I can wrestle, but I truly haven't been able to like tap into it. And then I would get calls from coworkers, I would get calls from coaches, producers, and they're like, please do me a favor and do not give up wrestling. Do not, like, whatever you do, like, you have it in you to go and be a star elsewhere. And I was like, you know what? That was never an option inside of me. I never wanted to give up. I never wanted to stop. It was just always like a nervous feeling of like, okay, what next? And as one door closes, another opens. And I'm super grateful for this opportunity with TNA.
There we go. It's fun to see the 24/7 behind you as well. I didn't think I'd ever see that again, but there it is.
Yeah, here.
Good. I'm glad at least it went
very
somewhere.
proud of it.
Yeah,
I'm extremely proud of it.
They treated it quite disrespectfully in the end, didn't they? So at least it's got a home. At least it's got a happy home.
It's got a home. I try to live my life like a champion every single day, 24/7. I was really passionate about elevating the title as well. It was another, we were talking about creativity and ideas, and I brought an idea to the table. I wanted to make it like a women's mid-card or intercontinental title and give another meaning for, you know, women wrestling for something. Because at that time, there was like 20 women sitting on the bench. The tag titles weren't really doing much. And I'm like, guys, we have this title right here. Why don't we make it mean, you know, something, and women to fight for something more that are not in the title picture? And, you know, it's like, yeah. I'm super, you know, proud and excited because I saw, you know, during the weekend that they had announced that NXT is having another title for the women. So I'm very, very excited for, you know, NXT and the women in that division to have something to fight after and hopefully, you know, can get and maintain, because that was something I wanted to do.
So I want to go back to Hard to Kill if we can. When they teased your arrival, there was a lot of speculation. There was a lot, the whole pay-per-view kind of went on for a while with them teasing it out, because we were streaming it live on our podcast, my friend and I. So how did all that come together? How did that reveal all come together?
You know, the reveal came, there was a lot of different ideas like thrown out there, and it was like, well, you know, let's build it to the point where you're there, you're kind of exploring the landscape, because I mean, let's be honest, I wasn't too familiar with, you know, TNA. I've only known WWE. That's where I had started. So I was like, let's do this organically of like how it would really seem to like happen. You go and you scout a team, you go and you scout, you know, an event or something like that. If, you know, you're a football player, basketball player, you're looking at, you know, college options, you're looking at this school, this school, this school. So let's do it that way. So, you know, I had arrived in Hard to Kill in Vegas, made an appearance, sat ringside, watched a championship match. And I was, again, blown away by Jordan and her talent. She truly is an amazing performer and wrestler. So I sat there, you know, observed it, and then, you know, made the decision that I was going to arrive and be a part of TNA Wrestling. And then we filmed the vignettes, you know, the three vignettes that aired the weeks following and led up to my debut match. And I must say, those vignettes that aired even a minute long had made me feel like a star. I was like, oh my God, this makes me feel like I rewatched and rewatched and rewatched those vignettes so many times, because I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like I look and I feel like a star, and this new persona and character all kind of came together. And I had great matches, very grateful for, you know, my 3 matches, and then was able to work with Zaya Brooke's side for a longer match, and really brought some character work and kind of like, it told a story. And that's something I want to bring to TNA is like, let's mold everything into a story instead of, you know, other places that are like, okay, cold match or going on, this person, this. I was like, no, let's, you know, go step by step and really get people invested. And that's been, I feel like, has been really working with TNA.
Good. So now let's look to the future, and let's, you know, maybe just think about the character a little bit more, in the idea that what is Ash By Elegance hoping to achieve in TNA? And in her words, what does the future of TNA look like? You know, from your eyes or the eyes of that character?
very elegant, very shiny, very another accessory around my waist. I feel as though, you know, this coming weekend at Rebellion is Steph DeLander. As we know, that was my replacement, so I should be a part of that match because, you know, I had some cosmetic procedures done. Therefore, I had to find a replacement. Steph was my replacement. She won. So like any kind person would say, okay, I did the job. Now, do you want to take it from here? I would have said yes, and I should be wrestling Jordan, but that's besides the point. I will be watching ringside, so I will see Jordan dominate Steph, and then my eyes are on the prize, and I'll be heading for that championship match, which I really look forward to, and I hope it's against Jordan.
Okay, good, because it might be against Steph. You never know. So let's have another conversation about like you entering TNA. So yourself and Nick Namath both joined TNA at around the same time. So have you both had like a conversation on how your experiences have been similar or different? I thought that might be a good person to compare it to.
Of course, you know, him and I have come from, you know, the same experience and background. We were kind of in the same position where we were stuck. And we had conversations in the past too, was like, okay, well, what could we do after? And it's always like a conversation that's like what you can do after, but you obviously think it's not going to happen, right? Because you're like, okay, yeah, if this happens, yeah, there's other opportunity, but that's kind of like in the back of your mind. So when it happened, it was like, okay, like it was a sigh of relief in a sense, but also scary at the same time because he had known WWE for so many years. I had known WWE for so many years. And then it was coming into like, you're coming into a huge pond and a huge new environment. And you feel like this big in a sense of like, okay, these people, I don't know them. Yes, they know me, but are they going to be nice? Are they going to look at you differently? So it was great to have a familiar face to be able to like experience something with. And we both say that this has been the best place for us to explore a different character, explore a different avenue, actually feel appreciated by the fans and also the producers, the owners, the writers, everybody. It's been amazing from top to bottom. And, you know, I'm speaking for myself, but I know, you know, from his experience and from our conversations as well, that's how he feels.
Good, because it's a lot of people who, because TNA has its own fan base. So what I was going to ask is, like, you obviously you're no stranger to the big stage, you know, and appearing on big streaming platforms. TNA have got a whole bunch of options. They've got the DAZN, the Impact Plus, the Ultimate Insiders on YouTube, which I'm always using, I'm always plugging because I love it. So do you feel like you're now reaching an entirely new segment of fans that you might not have? Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. It's been great because I've done a lot of signings also since I have left WWE, and I go by Ash by Elegance. Like at my signings, it's not FKA or anything like that. It's just I'm going in as this person. And so many people are like, oh my God, we love what you're doing. Yeah, we didn't really tune in to, you know, WWE because we didn't like, you know, the storylines and this and that. But I mean, like die-hard TNA wrestling fans are like super like invested, not knowing like what I've done before and leading up to it. They only know Ash by Elegance. And they're like, you're killing this character. You're doing awesome. And also too, you know, stemming from that question is I watched TNA a lot now since I'm, you know, with the company, and looking back, so many WWE talents have come from there. I mean, Bobby Lashley, Kurt Angle, you know, Naomi, for example, Mickey James has been there. Like so many amazing, talented people are in and out of TNA's ring, you know, so it speaks volumes for me to be a part of the Knockouts division.
Exactly, and I don't think anybody else quite does it like TNA. And TNA feels so much more comfortable in its own skin than ever before, and that must be really reflected in the locker room these days, especially since the rebrand.
Yes, the rebrand has been awesome. coming in, watching Impact, and I was like, okay, that's awesome. But it's always been TNA, from previous times. It's awesome that it's back. TNA is back and it's here. I like to call it TN Ash. That's what, yeah, we rebranded it to that. So you're welcome. But no, it's really awesome. I'm excited to explore and see where, TNA takes off to. I know they're launching action figures. We're traveling, to new places. So that's exciting.
Well, if they come, I'm always pushing for them to come back to Newcastle, like they
Me
did a
too.
few
I
months
would
ago.
love it.
Do it. That'd be great. I'm so desperate for them to come back and do that pay-per-view again. But that's just me being selfish. But so you mentioned Mickey James a minute ago. And I don't ask this question to everybody, or particularly every knockout, but I think for some people, it is a good question. It's an interesting thing to think about. So we're seeing TNA and WWE work together a lot more than they used to. It seems like there's a positive relationship, which is great for the industry, great for everyone. And as we once saw Mickey James bring her hardcore country persona to the Royal Rumble, which was just brilliant for a long time fan of both, I have to say. But would you be open to making an appearance in that? You've been in many a Rumble, but would you be open to appearing in that match, but this time as Ash rather than as Dana?
Yes, because I feel as though it's not, again, WWE gave me a great platform. I love the connection that WWE and TNA have. It started when Mickey James came with her, title, and I was actually in the Rumble. So when I saw Mickey and I was like, oh my God, you're allowed to represent this. I thought that was amazing on both ends of WWE and also TNA, because it was like cross promotion and it just like shows good morale. And also Mickey is a legend in WWE. Fast forward, now here we are in 2024. Jordan, when entered the Rumble this past year with her title as well too, and I felt as though she really she put TNA on the map. I mean, so many people, that whole arena was cheering TNA, which was awesome. It really showed how amazing the Knockouts division is, and Jordan just really dominated. For me personally, I would like to enter the Rumble or any opportunity I am given, and when I become, the Knockouts division, to go back and say, look, to all the women in the locker room, look, you have other opportunities. There's other chances. Like, look, don't feel stuck here. And also show everybody out there in WWE that, like, I knew I could do this. Like, I just needed a chance. I just wanted that opportunity and that chance. So being able to represent another promotion in the place that I first started, I feel like would be like kind of a full circle.